Welcome to the Preeminence Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters, founder of Ascend. Be sure to grab your ultimate guide to preeminence at preeminence.tv. Today we're talking about killing the status quo. So tune in, listen up, and get ready to take a focused action on your message, mission, and presence to create accelerated results starting right now. I was a drummer in high school. There, I said it. I cleared the air. Now no one can hold that against me. As a drummer in high school, I liked being in bands. So I was actually in several different bands in high school, with the high school, in marching band and pep band and jazz band. And then I also got into some other bands. One band in particular, I was in a heavy metal band, heavy metal thrash music. It was a good time for my teenage years to get all that aggression out, and I'm done with it. I've been done with it for many years. And one other band I was in was a country rock band. We played songs by bands like the Eagles, the Georgia Satellites, Tom Petty, America, that type of music. And these guys were actually out of high school, and they were working their jobs. So I was the drummer, and there was a bassist, 2 guitarists, and a lead singer. And so we get together 1 or 2 nights a week, and we would go through a couple songs. The guys would drink a few beers. One guy, I remember, he always take a 6-pack of beer and just be drinking that the whole time, go through the 6-pack while we're practicing. So we'd go through maybe 4, 5, 6 songs, and I didn't understand until later that really it was just a social thing to do. So they finally got a gig for us. It was at a local park at a small festival. And so they said, hey guys, we got this thing coming up. It's less than a month. We should come up with some songs to get good enough to play. And so we started working on the songs. And they said, we need to come up with a name. What's a good name for this band? We just need something. And the guitar said, how about Good Enough? So the name of the band that I was in high school was called Good Enough. Good enough is mediocre. Good enough is kind of blah. And it's definitely status quo. You have got to kill status quo. What is the status quo? Well, status quo literally means the state in which we are in. Staying in the state which you are in means there is zero change. There is no improvement. And when there's no improvement, there's really going to be nothing growing. And when there's no growth, there's death. If things are not growing, they're no longer needed. You know, evolution has created us as a species, and this planet, as things are no longer needed, as we no longer give attention to it, they die off. So what does that mean for your business? What does that mean for you growing as a person? The status quo is the killer of innovation. We want to maintain status quo because we don't want to do the work, or we're afraid of what people will think if we decide to change, or it's going to be too much work and we don't want to ask that of other people. We must be preeminent in order to survive, and that requires you to innovate. That requires you to change. That requires you to move forward and move up and move out and expand, to bring others in, to build yourself up, to build your business up, to collaborate. This is not status quo. Status quo is staying exactly where you're at. When you look at the technology of futuring, there are 4 qualities of future. There is dark, dim, bright, and brilliant. And I choose brilliant futures. That is one of innovation and freedom and expansion and growth and contribution and sharing with people and building everyone up. It's a society of we. It's a future of we and of us. It's inclusive. But when you talk about status quo, that's a dim future. It's a dim quality. What do I mean by that? It means we're just getting by. You know, we have enough. We've never done anything that way before. It's keeping things safe. And you know what? Life isn't safe. Business is not safe. You being preeminent is definitely not safe. When you decide to be preeminent, it's unsafe. You are a target. a target of people who want to take you down. They want a piece of you. They want to leech onto you to get some of your power, some of your platform that you've built. You've struggled for years to create. All right? You being preeminent, there's nothing that's status quo about you. I want you to look at the different areas of your life. Some people, like my friend Garrett, says body being balanced in business. Or another friend of mine, Kevin, who says faith, family, fitness, finances. Think about those different areas of your life. Where are you living the status quo? What is status quo in your business right now? What is status quo within your business? How about your marketing? Are you status quo in your business? You're just like, you know what? My marketing, I've determined that we're doing good enough. I never wanted to be good enough. I never saw myself as just being good enough. I always wanted to do, what is it that we're capable of? How far can we take this? How far can we go? How big can we make this? How big can we dream? What are those goals that are so far out there that they scare us because we cannot do them alone? Status quo will kill your business. They say if you are not moving forward, if you are not pushing yourself forward, and you say, well, I'm just coasting. Have you ever turned on your car and drove down the road, even on a flat road? If you're on a flat road, and you just take your foot off the gas, put it in neutral. I don't know if you've ever done that when you first got your license or what have you, but you're just coasting. People say, I'm just coasting along. Tell me, how long can you coast? How many miles will you coast in your car on a flat road, even if you're going 100 miles an hour and you put it into neutral and you just let it coast? On a flat road, you may go a mile. You may even go 1.5 miles, but going 100 miles an hour and then going to coast, you're literally going to stop faster than you can say stop. It's crazy how fast you will stop when you try to do status quo. Status quo is taking your foot off the gas. Status quo is saying, I'm done. We're doing enough. We're doing more than our share. Status quo is saying, I'm doing my share. He has to do his share. She has to do her share. That's not my job. All those things that keep us in this little tiny box. You will never be preeminent living in a little tiny box. You will never affect the world that you have the potential to affect living in your little tiny box, living that status quo life. Status quo will kill your company. Status quo will kill your relationships, your religious beliefs, or even if you don't have a religion, your faith. Status quo in your faith. Just going through the motions. Most people in their religious life, in their faith, they're living the status quo. How about your health? Well, I could be eating worse. At least I'm not eating donuts for breakfast. I'm having Wheaties in the morning. So, that's my status quo. Literally. I know people like this. It's just, I'm doing just enough. Well, I don't put too much creamer in my coffee. So I'm living in moderation. Moderation, I don't know who came up with the phrase that everything's good in moderation. Everything's status quo. Everything is mediocre in moderation. I want to be the best. How can I be the best at this? And you know right now what you're capable of. And any frustration you're feeling is just like that frustrated as hell episode. Any frustrating feeling you have, that's because you know that part of your life you're living in status quo. Status quo is a killer. Status quo is a killer in your business, as I said. Status quo in your health is probably one of the number one killers of people today. It's the number one cause of death is living status quo in your health. In your relationships, think about people's marriages. Think about their relationships with their children. Where are they living status quo? It's not bad. It's not being terrible. It's not being mean to people. It's just being blah. No one is attracted to blah. No one wants to hang around for blah. No one wants to spend time with blah. If you want to be blah, you have every right in the world to be blah. Just don't expect people to be attracted to that. Don't expect to keep people in your presence with a blah attitude. People are attracted to motion, to speed, to big ideas. The bigger your ideas are, the more mass they have. And if you think about the mass of a planet and the gravity there, you are attracting people to you with those big ideas, with the fast movement. Money loves speed. And if you just have money sitting in a bank, if you just have things parked, what is that? Is that a dark future, dim, bright, or brilliant future if you think about that? If you're not familiar with it, go back to the Futuring episode and you'll learn more in depth about the 4 qualities of the future. But if you park something, that's just status quo. At least I'm saving it. At least I'm not spending it. I'm putting it in the bank. There's so many things you could be doing. All those could be. You have the potential. You're not living your potential. That's status quo. Any situation you find yourself in, you can ask yourself, am I living status quo or am I actually living above status quo? This isn't even saying you're 100%. When you're living status quo, that's like the C grade student. The C, D plus, C minus. You want to live a D plus, C minus life? Do you want your kids in school having the D plus, C minus? Hey, it's average, right? It's average. No one's going to be attracted to average. No one's attracted to mediocre. No one is attracted to lukewarm, blah, all of those things. Good enough. That's not attracting anybody. You will not build a momentum in your business. You will not survive as a business. Your relationships will not survive. Your health, you literally will not survive. Your faith will not survive. You will have a crisis of faith in your status quo. Your action step is to look at those different areas of your business. That could be your bookkeeping. That could be your marketing. That could be your communication within your company with the people that are on your team. Where are you being the status quo right there? Just getting by, ignoring it. How about your health? What are you putting into your body? How are you moving your body every day? Your faith. Are you putting any time, even if you are not a religious person? I don't consider myself a religious person anymore. I consider myself of having a faith in something far beyond me, some big mystery that I don't understand, and I don't think humans are actually capable of understanding, but we get glimpses of it, and it's in that mystery that is exciting to me, and I want to connect with that. All right? That is that spark in faith. If you don't have that spark and you just have this mediocre, I just close my eyes for 10 minutes, I don't know, once or twice a week, maybe sometimes a couple times a month. That's dim. That's status quo. That's like what everybody else does. That's what you're going to get. Well, I watch, 2 hours of TV every day, and I know that the average is 7, so I'm doing pretty good. Your relationship, status quo. Are you investing in your relationships with your kids or with your spouse or significant other? What are you doing there? Your action step is just to look through and find the status quo in your life and change it. Go 1% or 10% or 25% or 50 or 100% better than you are right now. Once you do that, frustration level you have is going to subside. And you're going to know that you're doing more than is asked of you, more than is expected of the average person. And when you go far beyond that, when you surpass excellence in that area, when you become preeminent or you seek preeminence in your excellence, that is where people are attracted to you. They'll say, I want a piece of that. I want to go where that person's going. I want to learn from them. How do they do it? That is your action step. Go through your life, find out where you are being status quo, where you are living it out in the blah, dim life. And I'll talk to you more tomorrow. This daily podcast is all about you becoming the preeminent voice in your marketplace. So take the consistent and necessary action each and every day on what you've learned over the last few minutes. When, not if, when you're ready to take your business, your organization, your name, your brand, and your commitment to the level of preeminence, head on over to preeminence.tv where you can download your own copy of the Ultimate Guide to Preeminence, enroll in the Elevation program, and join us on one of our next live events. If you're not subscribed, simply visit iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play right now and click subscribe. Until tomorrow, make today and each and every day count towards creating preeminence in your space and a legacy that matters.